Hey guys, and welcome to the TCC podcast, where we discuss everything coffee.
From the tree straight into your cup.
Our heart's desire is to bring you not just coffee knowledge, but the love of coffee through the knowledge. On this podcast, we will be discussing things like coffee species, varieties,
Farms, processing, roasting,
coffee prices, coffee brewing, of course coffee shops,
and then of course ratios, which is a very important one, coffee and water, and coffee competitions.
and so on and so on. We want to try and discuss every single thing coffee related.
Hey guys, this is Stefan Swarts here,
And Theo. And we're back with another episode.
yeah,
Today's topic,
is origins.
origins.
Interesting one,
Very interesting.
because like we just discussed, it's origin for coffee is like Ethiopia, Yemen is the main origin where it started, but
Yes,
how we see origin now is where the coffee is grown.
exactly.
So
Yeah, so
that-
nowadays
yeah.
we would say, oh yeah, I've got a single origin from Brazil. And obviously single origin, beautiful word to use. I really like the single origin word.
Yes.
But in the past, when we used to say, oh, that's an origin, so the origin of this coffee is, let's call it for argument's sake, Colombia. No, it's not. It didn't naturally grow in Colombia.
Yeah.
It grew, or it originated from Ethiopia or
Yeah.
Yemen, as
Yeah,
Stefan just mentioned. So, I love the type of words we use, and we're not going to be confusing around this.
No.
It's just to throw it out there so everybody, comes from the same place when we chat about things.
Yeah, and just how we adopted the word origin around single origins, like you said. So nowadays, when we speak about origin, we speak about where it's grown, like say Colombia or Brazil or Kenya or
Yeah, then
wherever.
some people think it actually comes from their country. Like the best one is, where's your coffee from? Oh, we've got Italian blend. And I'm going, oh, fantastic. So, like, I obviously get that it's an Italian blend. It was probably roasted in Italy, but
Yeah.
they don't really grow coffee in Italy. And then some baristas would go, oh, they didn't know that.
And that's interesting, because that's where the information and the education is important around it, because they think it's from the coffee is from Italy. Then
Exactly.
it's just I think it was just it was made for the Italians to blend, if I can say it like that.
Oh yeah,
Because
now there you're really hitting a specific nail.
yeah.
Because yesterday I had a client that walked into one of my shops and he goes, she goes, we want to buy some coffee. I'm like, fantastic. What do you like? And their response was, oh no, we like Italian style coffees. Now, I'm a specialty coffee shop. I literally only have 2 high point commercial coffees in my shop for the client that don't have a lot of money for coffee.
Yeah.
And so, but it's the best roast we could ever do on like a 77 or a 79 point coffee. And I was like, unfortunately, I won't be able to help you on the Italian coffee because I don't have that dark.
Did they say Italian coffee or the Italian style?
Italian style.
Well,
So
then-
for them,
Yeah.
like they like to walk into, let's say, a grocery store.
Yeah.
In South Africa we'd call it Pick and Pay or Checkers, and they would walk, to the coffee aisle and they see, okay, Italian blend. Let's
Yeah.
call it Italian blend, but it's
Yeah.
actually Italian roast
Oh, wow.
from,
Yeah.
let's say, a House of Coffees or Woolworths or Starbucks.
Yes.
And I don't do that.
Well,
So
I would have said if it was Italian style, you could just give them some espressos.
well, yes, they've got an espresso machine at home.
It depends on the time of the day.
Exactly. So my question to them was, well, what type of coffee do you like? Now,
Yeah.
I've got a specific way that I ask my clients, and even random people that I meet that drink coffee. My question always is, like, I know this sounds like a swear word, and then I give them 2 instant coffees. So I would say to them, okay, do you prefer Jacobs or do you prefer Douwe Egberts? Or I would say, do you prefer Nescafe Gold or Nescafe Classic?
Yeah.
So I would use instant coffees as examples. I'll give you some more coffee. For the rest of you guys not watching the YouTube podcast, we just made a beautiful siphon here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one.
And if you want to see a siphon made, it's not like I really made it in front of the camera, but it was here on the side. You guys can check it out on YouTube. Very interesting. The coffee, so we should probably, let me just finish my train of thought, otherwise I'm running around again.
ADHD.
ADHD, here we go.
That's good. Okay.
I don't know where I was. So I said to her, so what do you like? And they were like, oh no, we like Jacobs. Which naturally tells me they like strong coffee.
Yeah.
Because Jacobs is very intense, it's very like punchy. Nice and acidic, but very intense in coffee flavor. So nice high elements of nuts and chocolate basically. Yes. And so I was like, okay, I've got a Tanzania AA, which would be fantastic for that because the roast is just past the fruitiness. So there's a bit of yellow fruit in there, but kind of pushing that nuts and chocolate, that earthiness.
Okay.
Or, of course, I had the F6,
yes,
which is the Mondanova and a Katura hybrid.
That's from Mpinjati.
That's the one from Mpinjati. Okay. And so I've got that. And I think the third coffee that I had to suggest was the Katwai, also from Mpinjati, but that one is a bit too light. There's going to be too much berries for them.
Yeah.
And so I think they would then ended up going for our house blend, which is a Brazil Cerrado and a Tanzania.
Yes.
Again, speciality. So when she paid the bill, she was like, "Oh, give me 4 kgs." I'm going, okay. So the price is, and I obviously gave the price. For the rest of the world, it's in rand, so it's 400 rand a kilogram, which in the rest of the world is not that expensive. But in South Africa, that's fairly expensive for coffee.
Yes.
But it is speciality. So I always suggest to people, if they want every day, drinking coffee for whatever purpose, go to a grocery store. It's going to be way cheaper. Yes, you're buying commercial, but you're going to be wasting, you're not going to really be focusing on getting a specific ratio or...
and especially if they drink it like a cappuccino or...
Yes, and they pop it into a bean-to-cup machine.
Yeah, or like an Americano with...
a bit of milk and milk and sugar or whatever. So on that specific coffee, it's not meant for that. It's a coffee that you go to a coffee shop and you have something at the coffee shop that you pay for that you can't have every single day in your house because it's too expensive for home, but still very affordable if you want to.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, well, at least they know the coffee because they come back for it every single day. And she bought 4 kgs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, okay, she took the whole 4 kgs.
Nice.
That was $1,000. So like I said, 100 and, I'm trying to do the math. $80.
Yeah, that's
about $80 worth of
if
coffee.
If it's 400 a kg, then it was about 1.2.
Yeah, it was 1.2 somewhere. Yeah. And I think we put a small discount for her on there just because she took 4 kgs. So she paid like $70 or $80 for 4 kilograms of coffee for everyday house use. I was like, whoo! Yeah, you've got the math there. Oh yeah, other way around. It's divided by.
Divided, sorry.
Not 18,000. $80. Hey,
well
good
done.
math in my head there.
Nice.
So just to quickly run through the coffee that we're drinking today.
Yes.
So the coffee that we're drinking today is a Brazil. It's a Brazil Fazenda Joao. I hope I'm pronouncing that. That one almost sounds like I'm pronouncing Japanese or something.
Yes, something like that.
Joao. So very, very nice. It was roasted by Stereo Cafe Coffee Roasters. Farm is the Fazenda Joao in Brazil. It is a single origin Arabica coffee. I love this packet. The farmer was Osvaldo Bachiao or Bachiao.
Something like that, yeah.
It was a 2020 crop, natural process. It was a red Bourbon variety.
Natural, nice.
Yeah, very nice. And then they've got some elements here. There's no roast profile, unfortunately, but
it's a light roast.
Yeah, it's about a light to medium roast. Yeah, they say here light, but based on the color, It's more towards the medium.
More towards.
In my opinion, anyway.
Yeah.
Nice caramelized color.
If
and it is a natural.
Just a question. If it's a natural, wouldn't it be a bit darker?
It would turn color slightly fast, but obviously not knowing what temperature they went in or out. If you look inside, there's a bit of a darkish line inside. It is more towards the medium in the perspective of a light to medium.
Okay.
In my opinion, anyway. I'm not a roaster. So
you just observe the coffee.
Yeah, we'll get some roasters on the show. We'll obviously get our roaster on the show very soon.
Yes, definitely.
But yeah, anyway, so that's the coffee we're drinking today through a siphon brewing method. Very delicious, very creamy.
I didn't drink. I haven't drank. My English now. It's early in the morning.
Take a sip of coffee, man. It's like you need it.
I can see clearly now.
The coffee is in.
I haven't drinking a siphon in a few months.
A few months or a year?
No, at least a few months.
Okay, excellent. So just a few months then.
But this is amazing.
I love it. Yeah, so, okay, back on the topic. So not a lot that could be said about origins in research because there's too many, different origins or countries.
Yeah.
So we'll break them down at one point and maybe discuss coffee from each one of them, which I think would be fun. Like we can take a Brazil or have 3 or 4 Brazils with a few varieties, taste them, discuss them, maybe different styles or different flavors that come from them. Then we can take Colombia and do the same. Then we'll do a bit more research for you guys, like when they started growing coffee and things like that. But I think for now, let's just discuss the whole overview of origins.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So what's your favorite origin?
Well, I must say, what I've tasted, you didn't have that in a very long time in your shop.
Oh yes.
It's the Nicaragua. Marcelesa.
Nicaragua, man.
I'm a big fan of the Marcelesa from Nicaragua. That for me was one of the best coffees I drank that I enjoy for my palate.
Marcelesa is amazing coffee, man. But I mean, all coffees from Nicaragua is actually amazing.
Yeah. So for me, it's but then also you get your African coffees. For me, like the Burundi you have.
Burundi, okay, the pea berry, yes.
The pea berry, that's totally different again because.
That's not high point speciality.
Yeah, so and for me the Nicaragua I had was like a nice chocolate nut.
Nice.
It was I don't know, it was amazing, but because I love that kind of taste, but then I also like the fruitiness, the berryness of the Burundi that you have, and then the Guatemala also.
Okay. You kind of tend to pull towards the big bodies. So
I like the body, and that's why I like this what we drink.
Yeah, the siphon, yes, of course. Yeah. Definitely a creamy mouthfeel. Textile is so creamy and so thick and heavy in the mouth.
So for me,
I also know that you like Uganda.
I do.
You definitely like Uganda. Again, the body.
There was a Uganda that I drank from you that had a type of, it's got a dark chocolate taste, but it had like a chili finish,
spicy finish, yes.
Like a spicy chili, and I loved that. I mean, that was like eating like there's a chocolate from Lindt that's infused or got chili in it. So dark chocolate with chili. I had that kind of memory of
that specific Uganda.
Yeah. So that was amazing for me. But so that's I've got a weird sense of.
Well, you've got a specific palate and you know what you like.
But the thing is, I like those, but then there's days that I go all the way to
complete opposite.
To the fruity, the acidity, the punchy kind of coffees. It depends. I think it depends on my mood and all that.
I mean, you wake up in the morning and you're like, I think I want a ristretto. You ain't going to be worrying about chocolates and nuts. You want acidity. You want to taste some berries and citrus in there.
So for me, my main one is the Nicaragua Marcelesa. Well, Nicaragua in general, I enjoy their coffees.
But Marcelesa was just one that punched
was on
you.
the top, So.
I love it. For me, yours, I would say my favorite origin that I've ever had I've also got a few. I'm very on the fruity side. So of course, on the
Yeah.
opposite of your palate.
Yes.
I'm not a big nuts and chocolate fan. Like the coffee we're tasting now, a lot of beautiful dark chocolate, cacao in the back.
Yeah.
Some beautiful, nice, soft, like a hazel towards like a light, like a pecan nut, side
Yes.
of the tongue acidity, with that almost like a brown sugar tip of the tongue. Now, for me, I can appreciate that coffee, but it's not completely my favorite.
This is a good cup for me.
Yeah, this is definitely your cup and your style.
Yes, definitely.
But for me, I would probably have to say number one on the list would have to be my favorite origin, Ethiopia.
Yeah.
I think the only
Definitely.
reason is because I've tasted probably about 11 of their different regions.
Yeah. You've tasted a
Of
lot
the
of
16
them,
regions, I've tasted probably about 11 of them. There's a washing or a processing plant in Ethiopia called Siko. My goodness, it was the most insane cup of coffee I've ever had in my life. It was roasted by hard beans in, I think, Germany or something like that.
No,
Um,
aren't they Polish?
Oh no, yeah, they're actually from Poland. Yeah, they're actually Polish. And so they roasted some coffee for Agnieszka Rawaszka, which we'll have Aga on the show as well very, very soon. So she actually gave me the package. She was here in South Africa for a tour, and she had a few packets, and we made a few cups of coffee with it. And she was like, "Oh, Theo, you want the rest of these boxes or these packets?" I was like, "Of course, Aga, I'll never say no." Enjoying coffee from different places in the world. And so the specific coffee was a Ethiopia from the Siku processing station. I've actually got the box in my hand now. The region where it grew was Gadio or Uraga is basically the region or location inside Ethiopia. The varieties, of course, completely nut coffee was a Dega and a Kurume, which was blended together. It grew 2,100 to 2,160 meters above sea level, and it was a light roast profile. The flavor notes was like standing next to a plum tree, picking a fresh plum off the tree and biting into it.
Oh man, that sounds great.
It was a phenomenal cup of coffee. But then my second favorite would probably have to be a Burundi. Burundi grows for me incredible coffee, especially the ones from Long Malt Project.
Yeah.
I love their coffees.
Yeah,
But I mean,
Long
then
Malt,
there's Rwanda
yeah.
and there's
I was wondering
Kenya
when Rwanda is coming in, because
yeah, like I just
but-
just love African coffees.
yeah, you
Well, I used to.
used to.
Yes, I used to just love African
Oh,
coffees, which
just love everything.
yes.
Okay.
Now I love South American coffees as well, but
Yeah.
that's speciality.
Yeah. It sticks to speciality. Yeah.
Yes, like I mean, I had a coffee from Panama the other day. Insanity. I had coffee from El Salvador. Insanity. I've had coffee from
Yeah.
Ecuador. It was insanity.
I haven't had some of Ecuador.
Oh, is it?
No.
Oh, it was. I have to see if I still have some of that coffee left. It's a bit on the oldish side, so we'll have to
Yeah.
do like a proper slow, like V60 or something like that. Very
Okay.
finely grinded.
Yes.
Just so we can still get that flavor. But I mean, let's jump deeper into the topic. So yes, origin. We get the whole origin idea, and everybody has their favorite origin or their favorite country. But I think let's kind of just break it down to a slightly lighter side. Let's talk and look at a few origins and continents,
Yeah.
and let's break down what their coffee used to taste like, commercial wise,
Okay.
versus speciality today.
Okay.
I mean, for me, I used to not like South American coffees because South America almost like carries that thing that you like, Stefan, that nuts and chocolate.
And the thing is, where that is, because they are some of the biggest producers in the world, supplying most of the coffees throughout the world for base coffees,
Yes.
basically, commercial coffees. Commercial coffees.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, I think they were seen for the commercial side, the normal drink your coffee with milk
Correct.
kind of
Vibe.
origin and vibe. And so I think that's why you didn't like it. And then you started discovering the specialities from
Right.
South America.
Now starting to ferment and play with red honeys.
Yeah, and the smaller
countries as well. Yes.
Yeah, so not Brazil and Colombia, but there were smaller countries that started to stand out with.
Well, yes, but I got a coffee from Brazil. Again, also got it from Aga. My goodness, it tastes like musk sweets. It's insane, man. Really delicious coffee.
Yeah.
So like phenomenal coffees out in America now, or in South America.
Yeah.
Brazil obviously being nice.
Yeah.
Colombia, Costa Rica, Guatemala, Honduras. Oh, I've got some delicious coffee from Honduras as well.
Well, like now with Sabores, that gives us amazing coffee from Colombia.
From Colombia, yes.
I mean, they've got some.
For me, it used to be nuts and chocolate.
Yeah, now
the
one we tasted on a previous show, on a previous episode, we had the lemongrass infused. And all those kinds of not infused,
fermented.
Part of the
part
of the fermentation. So that was amazing. So,
that is insane coffees, man.
And that's from a nutty chocolate origin, if I can say it like that.
Well, yes. For me, South America used to grow like a tobacco, nutty, I can't really say earthy much, but nuts and chocolate.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you've got the Africa.
Yes.
The Africas used to grow for me earthy, like very, very earthy.
Okay.
And then on the lighter roast, a lot of fruits.
Yes.
Where today, you can get almost anything. Literally anything you can think of, you can get from most of these countries. Because the fermentation is so good that if your roaster knows what he's doing, he can get condensed milk, he can get chocolates, he can get the nuts.
Yeah.
So I'm actually very impressed with where the coffee farm industry is going. The fermentation or the processing plants.
I think they're experimenting.
Yes, they're experimenting a lot.
A bit more. So, and I think that's where they can get a range from not just chocolates and nuts or earthy and fruity, but they can range all the way from earthy to heavy fruity.
Push it straight through the chart.
So,
yes.
And I think that's what's where we're going with coffee now is amazing actually. And then another thing that we spoke about is the east side, like the Asia, the Indonesia, India, that kind of stuff, where you said like it's more spicy and that kind of.
Yeah, they used to. For me, they also used to have a bit more of that nutty chocolate.
Okay.
And obviously being Vietnam and Malaysia and that type of side of the world, they used to grow a lot more Robusta.
Yes.
Which I know that I think they're still the largest producer of Robusta or growing Robusta in the world.
Yes.
But they've got a lot of speciality coming out there now.
And that's a big change in it. And so.
Guys, we're just laughing here because we actually have who just walked in, Mr. Costa Rica,
Mr.
Jovan Costa, which is one of the partners of the TCC, and I'm not sure if he's got some time to fall in for 5 minutes and chat. Oh no, he's shaking his head. He needs to get product to the shop.
So
he's trying to be very quiet.
So next time he's gonna speak longer.
Yeah. So next time we've got an hour. And then, next time when we bring him on the show, of course he'll be on a lot of different shows.
Yeah, he needs to speak a bit longer.
On the first one, we'll give him 40 minutes instead of 10. Get his beautiful voice
we
over
love
to
you,
you
Mr.
guys.
Costa.
So I mean, if you look at the coffee from the east, you've got Papua, or you've got Indonesia, you've got India, you've got Vietnam, you've got Malaysia. And I've actually had some really, really delicious coffee coming from that part of the world.
Well,
nowadays.
You spoke about something that I'm not sure if it's still on its way or if it's gonna come.
Yeah, the coffee
from
Excelsa,
India.
yes.
Yeah, Excelsa also, but is that the one from India?
That's the one that comes
about?
From Excelsa. That's the one, yes.
Okay, so interesting for me. This is now a little bit off topic, but the story about the Indian coffee that's known for the spiciness or the chilliness, if I can say it like that. Yeah. Where they actually
the old legend.
Yeah, they planted chili plants around the outside of the farms
yes.
for the elephants not to destroy the crops.
Yes, because they came in and they would always steal
Yeah.
all of the cherries and then obviously ruin the trees.
Yes, and then realized that the coffee is closer to the chili plant, got the chili aftertaste,
Yeah.
or the spicy aftertaste, and then they started planting it in between the.
Correct. Just to infuse that chili element into the soil, and the coffee trees then just stole it.
That's so amazing about coffee. They take flavors from their surroundings.
Yes.
That's amazing.
It's so amazing. I actually have, I'm just going to quickly mention this. There was a coffee grown in England, and it was grown in these like tunnels. And the coffee was used by Winston Thomas, one of the South African national champs, barista champions. If I remember correctly, what they did with the coffee was they planted the coffee trees in these like tunnels in between citrus trees. So they would put orange or nachi, I can't remember which one of the citrus plants it was, but they would plant them in between the coffee trees to have that citric type of element that extra pushes back into the soil.
Nice.
And that coffee tasted like orange. Now I'm not just talking about orange amino acids. It tasted like orange.
Oh man, I would like to taste some of that.
It was insane. I think it was 2018 or 2019 if I remember correctly, quite a while ago, and he bought the whole batch, which they had at that point in time, because they don't really grow coffee up there. I mean, growing in a tunnel, how much coffee can you grow,
It's an experiment also. So.
Yes, so, but just to get back on Papua, I had a coffee just the other day from Papua. I can't remember if it's pronounced Papua or Papau. I can't.
It looks like Papua.
Yeah, Papua maybe. But I had a coffee from there that tasted like papayas, which weird. Papayas, mangoes, and almost like a grenadella finish.
Sure,
it was
nice.
really, really, really nice. So nowadays, I think we can grow, especially with fermentation, we can grow phenomenal coffee anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
I know that even North Australia is growing coffee now.
Oh, really?
Because it's obviously close to Papua.
Yeah.
Papua. I keep on popping that one. So I know that origin might, origin might not be the thing that we always thought it to be, being where the coffee originated from. But for today's language, or for us to understand each other in today's life, of course, if you say, I've got a single origin from, Mexico, which you brought me that one Mexico. That was insane coffee.
That was amazing.
That was really insane coffee, roasted I think by Origin Coffee.
Yes, Origin's.
And I'm sure we can grow great tasting coffee now in any origin, in the sense of the country where it comes from.
Well,
I think that's phenomenal.
If you look at, just like we mention them a lot, but in Punjab, because they're part of the farm part of the projects, they are growing exceptionally great coffee, low altitudes,
very low altitudes,
very low,
in South Africa.
South Africa, and that coffee is amazing. I'm using it. I had an espresso of it this morning.
Yes, and
amazing.
Ratio?
1 to 2.5.
1 to 2.5, so 45 mils out on an 18.
No.
Okay, I think you only take 16.
I'm taking a 17.
17 grams, okay, so it's out about
shop.
43.
Yes.
Amazing
coffee. And it's a light roast, actually.
Yes, very light. It's 50 seconds off the first crack.
And through the espresso, I like that punchiness, that acidity, and it's amazing. And
I love it.
And it's from South Africa.
Right.
So amazing.
That just shows you. Now, okay, that is an 83 points because that was a very, very clean. It actually went over a gravitational table. So very high quality South African grown coffee. Who would have thought? But yeah, so let's finish this this episode off on the 3 questions.
Yes.
Of course, why is all of this information important? Well, again, it always comes down to the same thing. If you know what you like and you know what you dislike, you can always get something that you like. If you know you like nuts and chocolate, then find out from your local coffee shop. Let's speak to your barista and ask him, which origins do they have available that's got nuts and chocolate? Yeah. Then you can drink it every day.
Yeah, definitely. And then as you go and tasting and experimenting, you can know what you like and know from which origin it comes from.
Right.
And you can then go and say, listen, I like this, so I'm going for this origin coffee.
That's it.
And then you can look online where coffee shops or roasteries sell it.
Yeah, and I think that's a nice thing that you mentioned there. Like, if you like, for argument's sake, Ethiopian coffee, you don't have to go to just one shop to have Ethiopian, because there's so many different Ethiopians.
And
you can go out and find 20 or 30 different roasteries that each sell a Ethiopian, and definitely their roast profiles will be different. So the coffee won't even taste the same.
They're all going to taste different, and
Yes.
that's nice, because then you got something you like for your palate from the origin you like, and all taste different.
Yeah, and you have something different to drink almost every single day. I mean that's a good reason to have this information.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, on the second question, of course, how could this make my coffee better? Well, if you know you've got an African coffee, you want to extract to get more fruits out of it. So you want a lot of sugars in it.
Yeah.
If you've got a coffee from South America, you know you want the nuts and the chocolate. Now, this is obviously looking at normal standard of what they used to grow. You know you can extract different types of elements pushing for nuts and chocolate. You don't need that much sweetness from your coffee. So
definitely.
you could actually then go, oh, okay, so your friend bought you a packet of coffee from, let's choose a random country on my list, from Peru. So you've got a coffee from Peru. Okay, it's South American. Like, look at the roast. Okay, it's a medium roast. Fantastic. Pull it towards nuts and chocolate.
Yes.
It's an easy way to distinguish which flavors you can get from that coffee.
Definitely, and in the future we will speak a bit more about it in ratios and how to extract that specific flavors and sweetness. And
Yes.
So at the end of the day, it's going to help you to get to that. So
that's it.
Yeah.
And that basically answers the third question.
Blowing the knowledge.
Thank you, Stefan. You always do this. Third question is, how can this knowledge be applied in your daily life? It's by experimenting with the coffee based on the information that you've got.
Yes.
If you've got a packet of coffee and you've got no idea what's inside, that means you've got no idea what to do with it.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you've got the information, you can create a specific, distinct flavor of coffee, and that means you can actually get the one thing that we want you guys to have in every single cup.
Yeah, definitely.
And that is your happy place.
There we go.
So that brings us to the end of this episode. So our heart's desire for you is to go out and learn more about coffee, so we can build more respect for coffee, so we can appreciate coffee more, so we can fall more in love with coffee. And so we hope that you guys go out
and find your happy place
in every single cup. See you guys, or chat to you guys on the next episode.
Cheers.